Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to us by Lizzie Lola. Yes, I keep trying to say Lizziolia or something like that, but at DeviantArt and Tumblr, so they can be found there. So we're gonna do a mermaid. I chose this blue color, but I'm having a little trouble like seeing through it, I guess. I think it'll be okay. I also changed the layout of Photoshop here a little bit, so you can only see my layers and my navigator, which is honestly the only thing important for you guys. Alright, so we're just going to kind of rough out the shoulders. Let's find our rib cage. Find our center line. Torso. Well, I guess this is the waist. Torso is the whole thing. Hips. And just because this is kind of where the crotch would be. So because we're doing a mermaid here, or a mer person of some sort, some fishy person thing, I usually harp on tails a lot, but this is okay. My big harp with tails is never make, so forget the fin, never make the meaty, bony, muscly part of the tail shorter than a person's legs would be. So if you kind of were to pretend like this person had legs, it's really badly drawn legs, but they should never be shorter than that, okay? You can make them longer or whatever, but just don't make them shorter. It'll make me cry. It just kind of makes them look a little stumpy and like they wouldn't be able to propel themselves. I don't know. Maybe it's just a preference thing. You know what? I never checked to see how big this was. Oh, let's try that again. How about? The second one we're going to do today, I already resized it, and I actually had to make it smaller, which is sort of rare for me. I usually almost never have to make them smaller. I usually have to make them bigger. So let's just kind of get some curve in the neck there. Yeah. I got confused. I thought this was like an Adam's apple, and I was like, wait, is this a boy or a girl? I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, I was just trying to know. I keep trying to draw legs on this person. I think I'm gonna turn on Lazy Nezumi, and I don't usually do that, but at least for the fins, I want to have a little more control, or fin, I should say. Now, hopefully this won't lag too much. I'm trying to think what fish this is. Like, what... Is this a clownfish? Was not a big fan of Finding Nemo, as you can see. Somebody's gonna send me a message and be like, how could you not? Oh. Travesty. Alright, so I would also recommend doing a little center line stuff on your fishy goodness. Now, one of the things I did was I pulled the butt in a little bit, Again, this is kind of personal preference for like balancing. I mean, I guess you could go like maybe a little more. I will give you a little more. My thing with the butt is not, like, I don't care if you draw a big butt. My thing is, this doesn't really, like, right here, this doesn't connect to that. Like, it's not drawn through. So, that's my only reason here. I'm trying to pick some happy middle ground so that those lines connect. Now here's the deal. I didn't look up a reference for this fishy's tail. But when it comes to fish tails, what I like to do, a good way to think of a fish's tail is kind of like a torpedo shape. I'll just do it straight like this. And so then you have, you know, like, you'll have a fin coming out like this and a fin coming out like this. But then if you look at it from the top, what that looks like then is sort of this kind of a shape. So then what you want to do is, if you're drawing like somewhere in between that, so draw a curved fish. You want to be able to see kind of like that overlap. Sort of like a plain wing, I think is another good way to think of it. But like flexible. And then you just change the shape of the fins, you know, to be whatever you want. You could even put like little fins on the side like that if you wanted to. I'm putting them there. Just ignore them if you don't want them. Yeah, this is my mermaid now. Copyright Emmy. No. Okay, so this arm. Wow, I just had a sudden craving to play McGee's Alice. Woo, that came out of nowhere. You know how people crave food? I crave like video games and movies and stuff. Anyway, I think I'm pregnant with a horror comic. Oh. So this elbow just needs to move out just a little bit so that the forearm, upper arm, forearm. I don't know why I get those two confused. Forearm is like this part right there. This part. Help if I could circle the part that I'm talking about. But anyway, so yeah, you want to have these be same size, okay? Rotate my paper a little bit here, just give my wrist a break. I also think the shoulder might be protruding a little bit too much there. Scratching myself here. I'm thinking that this is almost a little long. Nah, if I move the hand down a little bit, it's passable. Okay. So, just seeing how the breasts connect here. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to mention, I noticed you put like a little line, like a little overlap right there. Don't do that. I can't really give you a good reason why, but it kind of, it sort of segments the body, like that this is some sort of piece on top when, I mean, it's okay to do it over here because there's like a little bit of a protrusion from a belly, but it's kind of hard to explain. It just sort of, I see it a lot though for some reason, but it kind of throws off the visual connection between these pieces. Okay. Gonna make the hands and the fingers a little bigger, a little longer, so that, remember, hands should always be about the same size as the face. So, not the same size as the head, but like just the, you know, kind of like the forehead, mouth, chin sort of area. You know, where all the pieces are. So, these amazing technical terms of mine. So, just gonna make the hands a little bigger for that reason. Let me step back a little here and look at it. Okay. I think I've gone and made this arm a teens too long. I knew it felt a little off, but I just couldn't. Yeah, I think that's better. I should mention that there's always a little bit of flickering in these videos because I have to go back and forth to check things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the hand and then move it into correct position as I do. I keep thinking I have to go somewhere today. I'm sitting here like, oh, when I start rendering my video, I need to head out, but I actually don't really have anywhere that I need to go today. I don't know why I'm thinking like that. Sorry, moving stuff around, getting everybody all dizzy here. So again, slightly larger hand. Is that moving all together? Yeah, I guess it is. Didn't feel like it. Don't be scared to draw quote-unquote big hands. Like, don't get all Yahweh hand on me, but you know what I mean. Just, there's kind of like, I don't know where this comes from, but there's sort of like this internal fear that everybody has of drawing too big of hands on girls and too small of hands on guys. And then what ends up happening is you get these like really out of proportion extremities and stuff. And I don't know where that comes from because I did it too growing up. I think it's probably some like heteronormative thing, some cultural thing ingrained in us. So now what I'm going to try to do is sort of find the average between these features. The face, like, I love these eyes. They're just, everything's like a little turned like away from each other. But overall, the anatomy on this is really sharp. Okay. So, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like I do. I'm going to trace over the eyes and then just turn them a little bit into position. So, I hear a little puppy whimpering outside. Okay. And I'm just gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat. Then all I have to do is move the shine over to the other side. Like the cheater I am. What's that expression? Work smarter, not harder. That's me to a T. Alright. So now then, all we have to do is I'm just going to put my little crosshair here. And you don't, in Trying Human, what? Sorry, it's my webcomic. In the transform tool in Photoshop, you can move the little crosshair down to wherever. I'm moving it to the corner of the eye just because that's where I want to pivot my eyes to, but there we go. Now the reason I'm doing that is because the nose and the mouth are kind of on this, following this sort of like crosshair. Like if you drew imaginary guidelines, the nose and the mouth are following it, and this one eye is. So everything but this eye was favoring this layout, and I'd rather change less than more, so we're gonna go with that. And then I'm just gonna draw one side of the head on a new layer. I should have mentioned that. This is a different layer from the face and the body. Yeah, the ears are... Okay. And then, I'm gonna duplicate that. Though my lines were a little fine. And I'm gonna try to touch that dot to the other dot. Put my crosshair down there. And then just sort of rotate that. So I'm gauging where the eyelashes touch the edge of the head there to try to see how far I need to... Yeah, there we go. So let me just get rid of some lines here. I've sort of rounded off her face, or not straightened, but like narrowed her face a little bit. I didn't really intend to do that. I think by moving the one eye, it really narrows the face for some reason. I didn't mean to narrow it so much. I'm sorry. Love those lips. Very kissable lips. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Alrighty, so here comes the scary, sad part. Her neck is really, really long. So, like, I would personally move the head down a little bit more. That might not be everybody's cup of tea, but... Oops, I don't know why I just went off into a million years there, but... Also, what percentage am I? So her head is at like a -5% tilt. That might not be everybody's cup of tea to move her head down. That is like a personal preference, but I think it feels better to come down on the neck a little bit more. Sorry, I'm just like clicking every little thing every which way. But I also just realized that one boob was kind of bigger than the other. But that's what I would do. I would just move the head down just a little bit. It's a teeny tiny bit. You can see it's like barely even anything. But yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna real quick stop the recording and start it up again when I get on to the next one. And yeah, so again, let's thank LizzieLola.deviantart.com or .tumblr.com for this drawing of I believe a clownfish mermaid. Alright, so I'll see you guys in a second. Bye. Alright, and we're back with another here. This one was sent to us by Exaggerated. Did I spell that right? Exaggerated-yawning. Yeah, exaggerated-yawning.tumblr.com. Yeah. Alright, and they sent us this werewolfy drawing. And again, I don't know, this is the color I normally use for my red lines, but it's just, I don't know, I'm having trouble like seeing through it today. Maybe my brightness is too high or something, but alright, so let's get started. I gotta get on my layer there. So I'm gonna preface this by saying that I haven't done anthro art, quote unquote, professionally in a really long time. Back when I first got out of college, and even in college to some degree, I did like a lot of like furry art and anthro art and stuff on commission. And it has been a long time, to say the least. So I will do the best I can. But I'm sure there's going to be some like dog or wolf anatomy expert who's going to come out of the woodworks and scream at me. No. Actually, you guys are very forgiving of me. Because this is a learning experience for me too, you know. I actually do learn a lot from doing these. I think that's kind of why I wanted to do them so badly, was you know, because a lot of times I'll be looking at something and I'll be like, is that how you draw that? Like, because I'll have to do some research before I start, because I don't want to be like telling you guys ignorant falsehoods on my part. You know, I just don't know something and I don't want to like bullshit you, basically. I don't want to just be making up shenanigans as I go. So I'll go look stuff up and I'm like, oh, there you go. Emily's having a learning too. Okay. So when it comes to what I'm assuming this is, when it comes to amputated limbs, I was actually curious. I was like, is there like true anatomy to amputated limbs? Normally, they're amputated at the elbow. This looks like it's actually amputated higher. Like, now a doctor's amputation is gonna look... This is not what I thought I'd be doing at the age of 27, talking about the anatomy of amputated stumps. But anyway, this is not what I would call a doctor's amputation. But what I would recommend doing is drawing, like, scar tissue buildup. Like... Now, if this is, like, some kind of, like, artistically symbolic thing, then, you know, where it's just like the limb ends there, it's not like a true amputation or what have you, then ignore said tips. But for folks out there who are feeling on drawing something like this, there you go. Also, I'm not sure, is he supposed to have like fur on this part of his body? I don't know. I'm gonna draw some fur. If he is meant to have fur, though, I would start to taper it off down here, because this skin, I don't think, would grow a lot of fur. Well, I'm trying to think about dogs with amputated limbs. I guess they do They do grow fur there. I'm just not sure to what degree. Okay. So he's got like this little G-string thing on. I would just curve it up a little higher to get it like up over the waist, or the hips. Like the flare of the hips, like right there. Okay. Just like that. Alright, now we're gonna go on to the dreaded head. I'm kind of like putting it off a little bit. I am not super proficient on my dog anatomies. Especially my woofy dogs. So here you can see both canines and the like little front bitty teeth, but the nose is almost like a complete side view, so we just want to make sure that you can see the nose from the front. I'm trying to think here how to draw that, kind of like this. Little pop nose. I'm thinking. That's too much, isn't it? That's just too much. Let's try that. I think that's a little better. So I'm just trying to kind of align the teeth in perspective. The teeth are kind of what I'm using as my guideline for where the jaw is going to be positioned. So I think there's like jaw. I'm kind of using like human anatomy to try to figure this out. I should have looked up like a skull, as a wolf skull or something, but before I tried to venture into this, but let's see here. So the jawbone would go up there. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what's going on underneath here. So there's the back of the head. Now I know for the fact that ears need to be up a little bit higher than that, and I'm going to push them down though. Okay. And I really like to draw the sort of the far brow because it's like one of the only things you have to sort of imply where the other eye is, but it was a little high there, so I'm going to move it down. Okay, so let's do another tooth. And another tooth. And dog tongue. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so now I have to try to figure out how the head connects to the shoulder. Oh, my knife is so hard. Okay. First things first. Be a jerk. I'm gonna be a righteous jerk and say that the head needs to be smaller. I was reading gosh, it was a book, and I'm trying to remember which. It's one of my life drawing books. I've had it for like a million years now. And one of the things that it had at the beginning of the book was like common mistakes people just seem to come programmed with when they draw. And one of them was drawing heads and eyes too big. And in fact, of all the things, I think eyes are the ones that get drawn like way too big all the time. And I'm not talking like anime or, you know, like cartoony drawing. I'm talking like realistic drawing. I mean, obviously we're not doing anything like ultra realistic here, but what I'm saying is that it's something that people tend to gravitate to make larger. And I'm sure it's because that's where, you know, that's where we put a lot of our focus is the eyes. You know, that's how like we read each other and stuff. So when we go to draw it, we kind of like exaggerate and make my life harder. Just kidding. So let's see here. So the last thing we've got to do is that arm, huh? I'm thinking I put a little bit too much tension there. All right. Gonna turn that off for now. So I realize you can't really like see the fingers or the thumb or anything here, so I'm just gonna kind of get it close and then move on. And if this was my character, I'd get big fat nails, like big claws and stuff. Dang it, that's what all the cool kids are doing. Yeah, see, you can't. I mean, I don't know, can you? Nah, even on mine, even with the head moved, you still barely can't see the... Alright, I'm not gonna harp on it. Debating, like, I totally get what you're trying to do with that line there, but I'm trying to remember, like, which... I'm thinking it does go on the outside like that. I don't know. I'm like having a moment here, apparently. That's close. It's really close. Okay. We're doing it. Mark, cut, print. We're doing it. We're just going to move the arm up a little bit there. Neat. Okay. And then, oh, the ropes. We gotta do ropes. Because I said so. I don't know if I've ever covered, like, ropes or chains or anything, so I guess this is gonna be a learning opportunity. Let's do purple. Okay, so we got our wrist. Gotta find where the tension would be, so like it would hook around the wrist like that. And then from there it's just a matter of drawing straight lines. Which in Photoshop what I do is I just rotate it so that it's it would allow me to draw a straight line either vertically or horizontally by holding shift, and then I just rotate it back. And then the other one is around his neck. Yes. Poor Woofu. Everybody's so mean to this Woofu. And then same deal. By the way that I rotate this, what I do is I kind of eyeball where I want my straight line to be against where my bars are, like where the scroll bar is and things like that, and I kind of use that to eyeball where that's gonna end up. There we go. Tortured Woofu is tortured. Oh, I never drew his nipples. Good God, most important part. So they just need to be a little more on the in. Just a little bit, well, this one anyway. But the other one's pretty much on mark, I think. Woofu. He needs chest fluff. As decreed by me. Creator of this drawing, apparently. The nose is still a little wonky to me, but I think it's pretty close. I think it's still a little wonky, but close. Close. I'm gonna leave it. Gotta leave it. I'll be on it forever if not. Oops, not darken, multiply. I think it turned out good. I'm proud of his muscliness. I'm getting better at drawing muscly, guys. I should think, hopefully. My bara levels are rising. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that'll be that one, and keep sending Redline Tuesdays to emy.bitner at IntroducingEmy.com. It's on my YouTube banner. If you go to my YouTube homepage, it's right at the top. Just copy paste that, put it in your email, say I want you to fix this, send me your art, and I'll make it beautiful. I'll draw Werewolf for you. Look at that Werewolf. Okay, anyway, so see you guys next time. Bye!